Well, hello, lovely YouTube community. My name is Valentina Castaño. I am a journalist, and today I'm recording my very first YouTube video. So, for today's video, I'll be talking about my country, my city, where I was born and raised and where I've lived my whole life. I'll be going through some questions and misconceptions that people have about it. And I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I am going to. But before I get started with the questions, I want to give you some context. Medellin is a city located in Colombia, a country that is in the north part of South America. And yeah, you might notice for our great coffee or the movie Encanto, I don't know. But yeah, this is a city located in that country. So with that being said, let's get right into the questions. So the first question, it's I guess what the biggest misconception about it, or like what the most people ask me and they wanted to know the most, so that's why I'm going to start with that one. And it is everybody involved with the cartels, with the DRUGS cartels, if that was not clear enough? And the answer to this is no, definitely no. We have all types of professions and jobs here. We have doctors, architects, nutritionists, and taxi drivers, and way more. We are not all related to the illegal activities that go on in the country, which I'm not trying to say that they don't go on in the country, but for sure, not everybody is related to that. Not everybody has to do with that, and not everybody does the RUGS. Next question. Do you have fancy restaurants? Dale, entra, puedes hacerlo tranquilo. Yo voy a parar. So the next question is, do you have fancy restaurants? Yes, we do have fancy restaurants in Medellin. Actually, we have a lot. They're like ever appearing, they're ever getting creative. There's all type of nice stuff and luxury stuff here. This is just like any other city, it has a lot of like a city vibe to it, and it's not uncommon, or it's actually like a pretty easy thing to find a fancy restaurant here. So the answer is yes, we have fancy restaurants, very fancy ones actually, and they're very delicious. So on to the next question, and this is a good one. I have gotten this one asked personally, and I'm going to actually ask two together because they go along very well. And it is, do you go to school with monkeys, and is it a jungle down there? The answer to that will be no. I live in a city. Medellin is a city. There is nothing rural about here. There is a lot of concrete, a lot of buildings, and there is no way of monkeys to be just like going around here. There are other places in Colombia. We have part of the Amazon here in Colombia, so I'm sure that down there, down south and up north where there is another jungle, you might see monkeys more commonly roaming around, but in the cities, there is absolutely not wildlife. I've seen more wildlife in Texas or Florida than I've actually seen here in Medellin. So, and the other thing is that here the weather, we're not like in a rainforest. Medellin's climate and environment is not rainforest, it's more mountain forest, so here it's more mountain species than it's not humid. People have that misconception that here it's like very humid, very jungly, rainforesty, but absolutely not. It's actually like I said, more of a mountain forest. So yeah, that's the answer. No, I don't go to school with monkeys, and no, it's not a jungle down here. So the next question is also a good one. It goes, I guess, along with the last two, and it is, do you have internet? Absolutely, yes. There is internet everywhere. There is internet at the cafes. There is internet at the restaurants, at the libraries. There is internet at parks, at public parks. There is internet at everybody's houses. It's a very common commodity here in the city. In Medellin, Wi-Fi is not special. So yeah, there is Wi-Fi. Next one, it's the food spicy? Definitely not. I've heard from many people that come from countries in which food is actually spicy, like India or Mexico, that the food here is pretty bland, and I have to agree. I mean, I personally I don't like spicy food, and I love the food from my country, but the food here is bland. We don't our traditional meals are not spicy, and I have to say that from Medellin, I I'm not 100% sure if in any other region of Colombia they have spicy dishes, because they might, but here in Medellin, no, that's not common. This food is not spicy. So if you have a soft tummy, you won't have any problem coming down here. Uh, okay, so the next question, going again a little bit into the crimey subject, and I like to put these questions like random like that so we can switch from subject to subject. And it says, do people get shot in the street in front of you? And the answer to that will be no. I have never seen anybody get shot, it's not common. I have to say that it's not like a daily thing. I guess it's not common for people to see somebody else getting shot, at least not nowadays. Um, a lot of the people that know Medellin from like foreigners, and that's fine, they know it from big Hollywood series, like Pablo Escobar or Narcos, and it's common to think that the city is still like they show in those productions, but it's definitely very different nowadays. Things have changed a lot due to many different social phenomena that we're not really going to discuss in this video, but nowadays it's not a common thing seeing people getting shot. Like in any other city, there are rough areas, there will be a shootout at some point, and I guess that it's not unique from here. But if the question is that people get shot in the street in front of you, definitely no. At least I have never seen that. So the next one, and it is, do people still talk a lot about Pablo? And the answer to that is a big no. I guess that for us here in Medellin, that's kind of like an old story. I mean, is that we're not aware that that's our past, and many of the times that I speak about it is with like foreign friends, or like people that don't know the story and they want to know it, and they want to know more of what happened. But for us, like locals, it's not common at all to put that subject on the table. It's just something that happened and that we're glad that moved forward from, but it's not a common discussed subject nowadays. So no, people don't talk a lot about Pablo here. Can you eat food in the street? Yes, well, I eat food in the street. I eat food in the street all the time. I guess that there's people that don't like street food, I guess that there's people that they'll tell you, oh, in any city of the world, like whether it is New York or whether it is Chicago or whether it is a city in Europe, they will be like, oh, I don't eat street food because it's dirty, or like, it has all the smoke coming from the cars or whatever. But so if you're one of those, maybe you don't want to eat street food here. But if you are somebody that commonly eats street food, the one here won't make you any bad. It's pretty tasty. We have a lot of options, when it comes to street food, and I've always had it. I've never had problems, and I don't have a particularly strong tummy, so I guess that it's fine. Yeah, you can eat a street food for sure. Next question is, are streets normal or you always need a 4x4? Definitely you don't need a 4x4 always. I have a small car and I get around just fine. Like I said, this is a city, so yes, the pavement will have some holes sometimes. I guess that the pavement here gets damaged easier than I've seen it getting damaged in other places or in like, the first world. But You don't need a 4x4 all the time. Roads are fine. It's not like rural roads, or like roads that are not paved. No, you won't see that on the city. But we do have a lot of steep roads because this is a very hilly place. This is a valley, so there's a lot of mountains and you'll have a lot of hills. So yeah, but that's okay. I drive a small car and I get around just fine. So the next question is it true that you can find DRUGS anywhere? And the answer to that will be yes, I guess. You can find that pretty easy here in Medellin. It's not legal. It's completely illegal. I'm not telling anybody to go do that for disclosure, but I have to be honest. I am a journalist. I've been in the streets. I'm on the streets daily, just doing news reports and stuff, and I can't lie to you and tell you that's not truth, because it is. In the city, it's pretty easy to get a hold of that product, but as soon as you get out of the city to smaller towns, to the outskirts, that changes drastically. It's not easy to get a hold of that product in smaller towns. But here in Medellin, I guess, yes, it's easy, but it's just not legal. So I wouldn't recommend anybody doing that. And so the last question, but probably my favorite to answer, is it true that the people in Medellin are very kind? Yes, it is. I don't know if that has to do with our culture. I don't know if that has to do with what, but I found that to be like a unique thing from here. People here are so kind. Like, they'll go above and beyond to help you with anything, whether it's at the restaurant, the waiters, whether it's at the store, whether it is at the supermarket, whether it is your friends, your family. Like, everybody is always very warm-hearted here. So totally come over. We would like to have you here. And yeah, so that was it for today's video, guys. Oh, another thing I wanted to say was that the pictures that I used through the video to illustrate it were taken, whether it was by me or my friend Omar, the greatest photographer of the city. I'll link his Instagram profile down below just so you can check that out and check out more of the city. It's beautiful. His pictures are beautiful. He takes them from like rooftops, and he's just the best. So go check him out. Go check his profile. And with that being said, thanks for being here today. Thanks for being with me on my first video. I love you all. Bye-bye.